What do you think about when I say interior design? What are the first images that come to mind? Pristine spaces, ordered, color-coordinated, unlived in, invoking perceptions of a perfect living, beautiful people, well-behaved children and pets. This talk today is geared towards setting the stage for a different type of interior spaces. Interiors that tell stories of their inhabitants, gritty, layered, full of traces and memories. A lived-in interior that learns, adjusts, and tells of who we are as occupants, citizens, and human beings. Look closely here. You can see everyday life unfolding within interior conditions. Interiority is not only about the attributes of interior volumes. It can also be seen in civic ordering systems. Dynamic landscapes and emerging territories is a research path that I have been engaged in for a while now. It assesses the dynamic interchange that is enabled by interior patterns in refugee camps. These are various maps of Al-Zatari camp showing its growth. The middle satellite views show how occupants adjusted the order of their shelters to frame shared interior spaces. Interior use patterns have a proven fidelity that is particularly valuable to a refugee. Such patterns are the only assertion of identity a refugee can carry through their journey. This design proposal is of an interior system that is deployed in the shelter unit and is adjustable based on the user's needs. This approach toward a responsive interior space translates into the classroom. Pushing the students to think beyond conventional workflows, we aim to develop a rich palette for materiality, lighting, and formal studies. We utilize novel precedents, in this case bioluminescent organisms, to develop design strategies for adaptive interiors. In examining the bioluminescent properties of the comb jellyfish, McKenna Wood found that vibration triggered the luminescence response within the creature. When studying the site and context, she looked for patterns of vibrations nearby. The sound of a passing train and other pulses of the city's soundscape became the catalyst for a moving roof structure. Made of a series of modular panels, the roof system moves in response to acoustic vibrations, changing the interior light and animating the spaces and connecting the interior to the city. You can see the roof right there. This is another student work by Lyndon Clater, where she looked at bioluminescent mushrooms. Accordingly, she developed a translucent skin system that harnesses natural light during the day and emits interior light into the city in the evening. This formal material study became the basis for a hypothetical interior design for a theater and a workspace for Annapurna Films. Linking the city's inertia to the design of its interior holds extensive implications to the field, as it requires understanding and designing interior spaces as active nodes in the city's complex networks. A new understanding of interiors hinges on new provocations and novel pursuits, finding agency for interior architecture that extends beyond interior and exterior allocations. Can interior spaces demark thresholds and break boundaries? Can they project their narratives into settings that extend beyond the physical places they occupy? Interior architecture today is an exponentially evolving condition that requires invention to rethink the spatial environments we dwell in. These images by Patrick Keogh really speak to this new thinking about interiors and their role in context. An interior projected back into the city, contextual interventions that are designed from the inside out. In tandem with my students' work, thinking about interior spaces as responsive informed my own research. In collaboration with Dr. Neil Stewart from Plant Sciences and Susan Stewart, we worked on developing an interior green wall that combines the biophilic benefits of plants with sensing and reporting capacities. The research speculates on the use of genetically engineered plants in the green wall to respond to air pollutants commonly found within the interior spaces, such as mold and radon. Integrating the green wall with the HVAC system allows the plants to survey the quality of the circulating air and glow in response to certain pollutants. Building further on this premise, I was also interested in pushing the traditional design of interior green walls and thinking of various substrates on which the plants can grow. This proposal utilizes 3D printed growth mediums and moss to create various greenscapes. The fun part of this process is passing those off to Neil and his assistants and him experimenting with them and see how the plants take to them. At my end, I'm working with my own research assistant, Michael Swartz and Scott Hickman, in trying to use our new ceramic 3D printer to generate those instead of the plastic filament. Now back to the title of this talk, Interior Topographies. Interior topographies are operative spatial strategies that reflect the manner in which I understand and experience interior architecture and how I teach it. They attempt, or perhaps more accurately, seek to promote scholarship that challenges the common regimes of the practice of interiors. Interior topographies assert the role played by interior architecture in establishing an interior and exterior continuum, positioning interior occupancy at the core of living ecologies. This is illustrated here in the work of Nicholas Stoldi and his design for a microschool. Thinking about interior architecture in the context of topographies engender an understanding and commitment to its integral role in our built environments. Interior architecture has the capacity to respond to critical issues and deliver significant influence towards social change. Such agendas are illustrated here in the work of Scott Hickman and his design for a new school for profound disabilities. And finally, interior architecture can reinvent programmatic functions, and with that, the reading of buildings, as seen here in Blair Bickman's design for an open-air aviaries in Knoxville's Sunsphere. Interior spaces are not autonomous. Interiority thrives within the narratives it fosters and amidst the milieus it occupies. Now more than ever, such reciprocity is requisite in an era ubiquitous with the flatness of virtual images and an overall contextual banality. Architecture affects its occupants, and this statement is especially true when it relates to interior spaces. Thank you.